All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the 9th of December 2022 Node API weekly meeting. Before we get started with our typical agenda, does anybody have any announcements they would like to make? Nope. All right. Then let me share my screen and we will get to it. All right, so here is our milestone, and the first issue on the milestone is to drive towards full coverage. I believe there's been some updates on this one here that you were working on.
Yes.
All right. So it was based on some of Vladimir's comments, and let's just take a look here. We had to cast it like this. Okay.
And also it's a wrong order of modifiers. I feel like we were fakely saying the type static something, which is not valid C++ to start with.
Nice. Okay. And this solves the issue on Visual Studio 2017. Is there a way to see that run? Because we don't have that in our GitHub Actions. Does anybody know how to do that?
Maybe, yeah, I can add the PR to our metrics on and not on GitHub, but on the CI, on CI, and test for all LTS and see if this PR execute without error in the CI, and then we can consider to merge for me.
All right.
I will do after the meeting this evening. So I just added comment directly on the pull request.
Okay. And
if all tests passed, or maybe if we have problems, yeah.
Okay, and is that because this here only runs on the master branch?
But here you can execute even if you go on build with parameters. Here you can choose a pull request. You need to specify ref / pool / the number of your pull requests. Yeah, like and you can choose the node version and run, just run. So it's very simple.
Okay. I think we can try that right now. What I want to see is what node version this is currently running on. 14. Okay. So then we would say 14 here. That's the correct branch.
Yeah, and you need to find the pull request, the number of the pull requests.
1242. Okay. We were here. 1242. That's it.
And then that build at the bottom. Yeah, just build. Push it. And okay. Now, yeah.
Okay, and I guess this is maybe it's that one. All right, so we'll wait for let me put a link to that build in this comment, and then I mean, I guess it's started by Kevin 80. Yes. Okay. All right. So
may I ask a question?
Yep.
I can see in the list we're still running Visual Studio 2015, but I don't see us using Visual Studio 2022. Well, it was just some like 2015, right?
I saw 17 and
19.
right. Hold on, let me get this
I think
thing.
it was 15 there as well. Like, I wonder if instead of 15 we can use 22.
There is no 15 in this list.
Oh, it was just there. Okay, sorry. But anyway, can we add 2022?
I think 2022 runs in this.
Okay.
Let's see. Windows Platform Test. Oh, no, it uses 2019.
I think earlier this year we had some issue with the latest Windows latest on the CI, so we had to revert it to Windows 2019 as a back. So I wonder that was fixed, and we can turn back to Windows latest.
Okay.
Yeah, we had a problem with npm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Kevin, maybe we can run these against 14, 16, and 18, and the main branch, and maybe we can add a table, and see if some of these tests fails or not.
I see. So repeat that procedure here, just with the
Yeah,
other.
just for all the LTS and main. This is the tasks that I follow when I check a pull request to be sure that we not merge something that break our code.
Gotcha. Okay. For when 2017 on Jenkins. Okay, Node version. Then we have link. And I'll just add the one that I just started now and add the other after this meeting. So 16 and 18. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so I'll start those up after this meeting so that we could just continue going on. All right. That's it for the full coverage. Do you have anything else to mention, Jack?
No, nothing for this week, but I'll work on it more next week. More free time.
All right. Then let's move on. Better coverage of Node API in YouTube. I took a little stab at this step here, create a new page, maybe I staple Node repo with this PR here. Nick, I saw your comment of reversing the link and the title. So that's been addressed. We can just quickly view this file here.
Okay.
I struggled a bit on like what to put as like an introduction or whatever. It's kind of short, but I mean, it gets the point across. And then I put those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, those 6 videos that we had listed in this comment here onto this page. So just take a look and we can merge that in when it's approved. Does anyone else have anything to add regarding this? No? All right, then moving on. Add list of non-C language bindings.
Now we have the documentation on a stable node, and next week I will make PR on the node core documentation. So just to link this documentation, and maybe I missed the JavaScript for in the runtime that support support an API, Node API. Is it right?
I believe it's IoT.js, not JavaScript, since JavaScript is just a JavaScript engine, but IoT.js is the runtime that supports Node API.
Okay.
I'll share the link in the.
Yeah, I saw the link in a discussion on the Node core, so maybe I can I can add the link even if in this documentation.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
When you add that link, I also noticed, of course, you always see these things after it's already been approved and merged. I noticed a couple of typos. One was on this here, programming.
Okay. Okay, so I will review all the docs and then add the new link.
Right.
Thanks for the suggestion.
Yep, there's one here on language, and then I just saw this one now. You always see something every time.
Oh, yeah.
This
Okay.
typo on Swift.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, right.
Okay, so let me make a comment on and this NAPI.net, that is in the list, right?
Yeah, is in the list.
Okay, create the PR on Node Core, linking to it this week. Okay, and then we discussed in the 9th December Node API meeting. All right, how's that sound? Okay, and then let's do that. All right, then moving on. Tracking issues for modules ported. I don't think there's anything different. How do I hide video panel? Is that it? Oh, I have the little zoom thing stuck in my. Okay, that's fine. Don't think anything's new been added here, but then we always go to Node add-on NPM and we check the weekly downloads. 10.2 million, looks good there. Regarding this version, I think we did have an issue for a new version.
Yeah, the issue is 1.2.1.7.
Yes,
Yeah.
and both of those have been merged. I think
we merged the last week a pull request and we target like somewhere like minor so we need the to create the 5.1.0 yes a minor release now. I don't know if you want to add these two paragraphs, or maybe we can proceed to make the release.
I think it would be beneficial, especially considering one of Vladimir's comments here, where it produces very inefficient compiled code. Each CPP would have their own copy of the function. So let's add both of these PRs to the list.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, 1242, 1245. Okay. And we'll get to 1245 when we get to that part of the meeting so that we can discuss it. All right, that's that. Enable debug testing. I don't believe Michael has done anything with this recently. Nope. So we can move on. Still issues to discuss, our favorite section. Let's see here. We have the unbound memory usage, which is dependent on the change for the runtime semantics, and the handling exceptions. That's also a change for the runtime semantics. So for these two, we do have that issue open in Node Core. Let's see if there's been label Node-API. Ooh. Well, that is, oh, that's because I'm in the wrong repository. That looks better. Okay, runtime semantics versioning. So there has been some discussion, just to reiterate for those new on the call or new to the recording. We're trying to figure out the best way to modify behavior of native modules without necessarily causing breaking changes. Maybe allow module owners to opt into these changes in behavior. And then two of the behaviors, I guess we have three here that are sort of dependent on figuring out how to change this, the runtime semantics, is enable uncaught exception emitting for thread safe functions, allowing an API create reference to work on to create strong references on primitive values, and eagerly invoke the finalized callback. And we did bring this up last week. Has there been any additional discussion or anything else that we would like to discuss on the call today?
Yeah, I would like to maybe talk a bit about this prototype I was playing with. So after our last meeting, the change I've done, like I think during a meeting, I think Michael said, what if we have we use a register by symbol even for then we're using this NAPI module macro. So one of the change I've done there, like I changed NAPI module macro to use also registration by symbol. And what I was trying to do during a week, like trying to understand why do we have two different ways to register modules? One of them using this struct, and another one uses this registration by symbol. So what I was able to find from the history of Node.js changes is that registration with struct was something which was done originally, and registration by symbol was added a bit later by Gabriel. And Gabriel says like that this additional registration by symbol it has more superior than registration by struct, because registration by struct only happens when we load in DLL, whereas like registration by symbol can be called multiple times, and it means that we can have the same module to be registered in different contexts. So idea that we loaded module, and if we have multiple contexts running simultaneously, each of them may have their own version of the module. On top of it, we need to have ability to provide version information. Currently, the way it's done in this PR, I introduce an additional function. Like, so effectively, registration by symbol will have two functions instead of one. One of them effectively will be just, we're given this exports inside, environment inside, and we return exports. It's actually our kind of registration by symbol function, how it looks like. And another one is supposed to return version. I guess I have a question, is it a good design or not, in terms of if somebody explores scenarios and they would have this function to be called for multiple versions of modules, would it make sense to have one function which not only registers module, but also tells which version of Node API to use? So instead of having two functions, maybe we should have one. It's, I guess, a question I have.
Right. And I think one of the pros for having the two is that there's no like breaking change for existing modules that use the one symbol version of that NAPI register module v1. Like if they define that symbol, then and we make a change that basically you have here in your prototype with having two functions, then nothing would necessarily break, right? But if we had one function, I don't think we would be able to reuse the same symbol, right?
Yes, you're absolutely right. And but technically, if we have two functions, then probably this original intent of being able to register from same DLL, do multiple registrations may not work as expected, because potentially it may be possible with this intent, if we talk about versions, that maybe one time you call it, you may have one version, next time you call it, you have different version. Yeah, I don't know. The problem, I was not here like for original creation of all this functionality, and I wonder if any of you remember kind of benefits of and would recommend to go one direction versus another.
That was also before my time. So you had mentioned the possibility of the version function returning different values across different instance loads. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, one problem with the unified function is that in the initialize function, user can already evaluate arbitrary JavaScript and create references. So we have to know the targeting version ahead of time so that we can determine the behavior of this MPI function invoked in the initializer function. So that's a way, that's one problem I can see with the unified function if we are going to merge those two functions, instead of having two unique functions and one to retrieve the targeting version and one for the context initializer.
That is a good point. Is there, let's see, okay, I wish I could search with a regular expression here. What was your function called for getting the version? Get AP, no, that's not it. This one here. Okay. Right, and it just calls that. So if because we need to know the version before they call the register module, because register module can run JavaScript. So then that is basically saying that this version function cannot run JavaScript. Is that correct?
Yeah, exactly.
Right, and it just returns an int and it has no arguments. Right, whereas the register function does have the environment and exports and can run JavaScript. Okay, that is a good point. Does that make sense, Vladimir?
Yeah, it does. So what I'm hearing, that you guys in favor of having two functions, because it will be, for one hand, less disruptive change, and also if we have one function, it will not bring any benefits effectively.
Right. Do we have this problem of needing to know the runtime, the version before JavaScript executes? Do we have that problem in the struct registration way? Oh no, I mean I guess not, because the struct would have that version function, and you would call this function before you execute any additional JavaScript, correct?
They both of
Yeah.
these methods are exactly the same from this perspective.
Right. Okay. So I think it's a good approach then. All right.
The only difference is that in one case we have a function which will be looked from node to the module to call this by symbol. In another case we have this callback, but technically when both of them called, they're called at the same time. And the same about this function which retrieves version.
Right. That makes sense to me.
And also this PR does not remove registration by kind of using the struct. It just makes it not accessible directly using an API module macro. So technically, this API module macro now uses the same registration by symbol. And also, I was trying to look into why this registration with struct, maybe that was some superiority in terms of being able to register multiple modules in the same DLL, because it would potentially give this freedom to us. But what I found from the code that today we're not allowed to have more than one module per DLL in any case.
Yeah, I still didn't get the point about the context-aware registration. As far as I can tell, API is declared to be context-aware, since we are passing different API environment to each module registration initializer function. And about the problem here is about the I may need to dig a bit more on this. As far so my point is that as far as I can tell, kind of two ways that differ on the context awareness of the add-on. So I will need to check more about this.
Yes, you're right. Currently, the way both registrations do, they're both context aware. Yes, you're absolutely right. So I was just mostly referring, I was looking at history when this new registration by symbol was added. And this is what Gabriel said, one of the benefits of it. But you're right, currently, both cases are context aware.
Yeah. Maybe there were some changes that were made after the registration by symbol was done to make the struct loading also be context aware. That's just
yeah, and there was a registration initialize function that was not context aware for non-Node API add-ons. You can see there is two register initialize function in the node module record. So that's not that's yeah, there is to initialize the function signature in the node module record. So yeah.
Okay.
Not an NAPI module. It's a
Yeah. Okay. I think that was
actually
Yeah,
refers to different one, which is inside of this non-ABI safe record. And we only use then we use an NAPI module. We only using context-aware method.
I see.
In our case, and
exactly.
whenever we convert from NAPI module to Node module, we only initialize this context-aware initialization method.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
All right. Okay. Anything else to discuss regarding this PR?
Yeah, I think that's it. Thank you for feedback. So what I'll do this coming weekend, I'll kind of add all these tests and stuff to make sure that it's all.
Okay.
If you guys not completely against what's going on with this PR, I can make it kind of looking more final, so we can.
Okay. I'm just gonna put in a quick discussion. We had a quick discussion about using two functions for the register by symbol method. One for getting version and one for initializing the, what do you call it?
Yeah, initializing the module. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. About, and if this is a good approach versus just using a single method. It was determined that using two methods would be more beneficial because we need to know the targeted runtime version before the module initialization code runs, since this code can run arbitrary JavaScript. Okay, let's put that comment.
It was a great point. Actually, I didn't look at things in general.
All right. Anything else before we move on?
Let's move
on. So that covers those two. Then we have this crash on thread safe release. And we were thinking it was due to some ordering of the finalization. And Cheng-Zong, I believe you were going to take a look into this a little bit. Do you have any findings regarding that?
Sorry, I don't have any time for the document right now, but yeah.
All right, no problemo. While we're at it, oh, we have one more here. Let's see, what is this one? Yes.
No progress there. Sorry.
No progress. All right, no worries. Then I believe, yep, that's it. While we are here, there was another issue regarding this one. This was brought up, I guess, several months ago, where somebody was creating a bunch of thread safe functions and V8 just crashed. And this was something that I was trying to look into by creating, I did a debug version build of Node, and received multiple different types of stack traces depending on I don't know what it was depending on, but there's just multiple different types of crashes during the execution of their tests. And I guess, yes, this came up before I went on my summer vacation. And then when I came back, the original owner had just merged the code as is into master. And there's been some discussion here, and it still apparently seems to be an issue. So I may try to take another look at this. This was another, because I saw this comment pop up where for some reason the thread safe callback function for some reason is not stored. And we had discussed using what was it, address sanitizer? Yes, memory sanitizer and address sanitizer and or. So I will try to use those. I did use these in another project, so I'm a little familiar with running this. So hopefully I will have some additional findings upcoming. And just so that we don't lose track of it. I don't think it's already in here. No, I'm just going to go ahead and add that. Just wanted to bring this back to attention because we did sort of just say it was fixed in a sense, but I think there's still issues with it. Then that is it for the stale issues. Then we have document how to check for memory leaks. I don't think any additional work has been done here. Does anybody have any comments regarding this? No. All right. Then we have burn down list of issues raised. First, before we get into the issues, we can talk about this PR here that you've been working on.
Mostly trying to address all these different warnings as I saw them. The only one which is not about warnings is about change to this binding.zip. I just found in one place we used different type of codes. It was just stylistic change.
Gotcha. Okay. And
this removes static keyword from standalone functions. It's very similar to what one of the change on did in our Node API headers. Some cases.
Right. Okay. All right. Yeah, we can take.
Error was for exceptions. It was a variable which unused variable.
Right. Okay. We can take a look at this sort of offline and review this then. All right. I mean, everything sort of makes sense though. All right. Then let's go on to any issues. Is there anything that people want to bring up before we just jump in and take a look at them?
I want only ask for approval to appear a pull request on Node.API header. Yeah, I need to approval to merge because yeah, we had an error. We have an error on
Yes.
some symbol for version 6. So yeah, if Kevin just approve it, if I think that I need another one to merge, so I can publish the new version of one module in on npm.
Right. Okay. Just to quickly discuss how
Yeah.
this
Yeah, I try to find a solution following the Vladimir's suggestion to create these automatically. So using, for example, yeah, the output of the preprocessor that yeah. I'm doing some experiment about this, and yeah, use the output produced by the compiler to yeah create all the symbols in automatically.
right. Okay. Just to quickly explain a little bit about this PR, basically each version has its own constants that define the JS native API symbols and Node API symbols by extending the previous versions. And the error that we saw was that in version 6, for Node API symbols, it was extending the JS native API symbols instead of the Node API symbols. So if we can get another approval on that, then Nick can go ahead and merge that in. All right, any other issues someone wants to talk about before we just take a look? Okay.
We have a new issue on the Node core.
All right.
I'd like to bring it up.
Do you have the number?
I posted the link in the chat.
All right. Oh, yes, I saw this one pop up. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, the question is that I would like to know, like, say, how could this be possible on JavaScript engines other than V8? Like, say, currently we have JavaScript and run on just JavaScript core, and I'm not sure if Hermes provide a public accessible Node-API implementations that we can investigate if this could be possible. Maybe Vladimir can chime in here.
So, if you enhance
Yeah, let me kind of investigate it a bit. I can't answer immediately.
Yeah, it's about hiding like providing a mechanism to hide properties. In V8, it's implemented with the symbols which marked as private, so it will not be accessible from the JavaScript APIs. So I'm not sure if, and I can say that JavaScript doesn't provide such things if I recall correctly, but I'm not sure if Hermes are providing such APIs too.
It was some recent changes about 2 months ago, which they introduced some kind of private symbols, but I want to make sure that whatever they have right now matches these requirements. So let me have a look. It was not there like kind of few months before, but about 2 months ago they added something there.
That will be definitely helpful. Actually, in JavaScript, we do have, like, say, the hash, the hard private fields in the if I recall correctly, it's 2022 ECMAScript. So, but I don't find any, and I don't find engines are exposing the hard private symbols to the C++ to the native APIs. Like V8 doesn't provide any APIs to define private class fields. So that could be a possible But I do recall objections from engines implementers from exposing such APIs, since the hard private class fields are going to be supposed to be a perfect encapsulation, so they don't want to expose any APIs to read that. So yeah, that's the current state for from the ECMAScript point of view. But we will definitely to see if this is possible in other engines implementations to help us to determine what the good approach here.
Mhm.
I know that for sure that inside of a Chakra core, but Chakra is not being probably maintained that much. It's not available. We also probably want to check if JSC, JavaScript core, has this support. I doubt they do. You're right, it's very uncommon usually. But there are some practical reasons why many engines added, like V8 and Hermes.
Okay. I'm just going to put a comment saying that Vladimir, you will take a look at the Hermes side so that we can get a little broader picture of support for this possible feature.
Cool, thank you.
All right. Any other issues that anyone wants to bring up specifically? Okay. Jack, I've noticed that you've still been talking a little back and forth with this Candy Long person, trying to get a repository or something.
Yes. So I was actually able to get some code from this person and reproduce the error he was talking about. It's a bit it's pretty interesting. It's like it's run it and where you run this out under an electron environment, spins up a bunch of thread safe functions and then attempt to reload under the electron environment, and then more than often not will crash the application. I think that's what he's trying to say. But yeah, still trying to read more into this. Yeah.
Right. And this is the cause stack. Okay, all right. Well, I mean, it's good that we finally got some code that's actually runnable and reproducible. So if you have any questions with your investigation,
Sure.
Which I think everybody would have questions with any type of investigation. Of course, just feel free to bring it up in the next meeting or comment in here, and then we can all take a look at it.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
All right, then I think that is it. That's new. Why do I have a blue line here? This is something that we change the title, create thanks. Okay. Ha 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 ha. So we can just ask this person if we can close this issue.
Yeah.
All right. We got a couple minutes left. Let's just look in the core. Yeah, that was just it that we discussed, and we talked about the runtime semantics. All right. Anyone have anything else they would like to discuss before we end the call for the week? All right, then I will give you all 7 minutes back for your day. And I will catch you all next week. And